Week 7 of the NFL season kicks off tonight, so you know what we're doing. We're making picks for all the games today on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast.
You are Locked On NFL Scouting with the Draft Dudes, your daily podcast for NFL and college football scouting. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's better than this? It's guys being dudes here on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast. We're the Draft Dudes. I'm Joe Marino from Locked On Bills. He's Kyle Crabbs from Locked On Dolphins. And we are your NFL experts here with you daily to talk team building across the league on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast with the Draft Dudes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'd like to thank you for making Locked On NFL Scouting your first listen every day, and a big welcome and shout out to our everydayers. You know who you are. Those of you who never miss a single episode, we appreciate y'all being here very, very much. This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNFL and use code LockedOnNFL for a first deposit match up to $100.
Joe, week 7 upon us. We have an interesting Thursday night game. We have an interesting Sunday night game. We only have
versus Jalen, the Alabama quarterbacks. Come on now. Let's hype it up, baby.
13 games in totality, which I am not pleased with. I don't know about you. At least there's a decent distribution of 1 o'clock versus 4 o'clock games.
That's all I ask for. That's all I ask for.
So, all right. Year to date, this is week 7. If you're new to the program or if you have not been following along with this concept all season long, Joe and I are picking all the games with who we think is going to win the games. We have had pretty good success in just straight up pick 'em. But one of the things we did throughout the summer and we updated after week 4, which I guess we have to start getting ready to update again.
Yeah.
The roster rankings is we've assessed all the players on all the teams. We study them and we assign them categories, and it gives us this numerical formula. And we've been working on like quantifying how good we grade the rosters as. And we put a coaching layer in this year. And we have essentially power rankings for the teams across the league. And we're using the numbers that are output as a result of that to try to build something that can successfully not only forecast games, but forecast games against the spread. And Joe, through 6 weeks, we are currently hitting at a 51.6% clip against the spread with just the rankings, not applying logic, not looking at weather, not looking at travel discrepancies or rest discrepancies or anything like that. We acknowledge injuries and we account for that when we do the spreads. But 48 and 45 through 93 games. No, 51.5% clip. So if you followed our advice every week, you're ahead. You should be ahead. But week 7, you've already made the observation. There's a lot of road favorites in the early games. And that evens out a little bit in the 4 o'clock slate. But there's two favored home teams at 1 o'clock. This week.
Yeah.
Really interesting stuff. So we're going to start with Jacksonville, New Orleans, which is the Sunday or the Thursday night game tonight.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right. Jacksonville at home, short week, better team. I think it's a nice recipe for the Jaguars, who I've declared as a sleeping giant. I think they've woken up. They've won 3 in a row, quality wins along the way. And I just don't love this Saints offense. And I really like what the Jaguars are doing on defense. I think their pressure schemes are good. They do a good job of maximizing their ability to stop the run. Devon Hamilton is back at defensive tackle. I like what this team's got going on at home, short week, unfamiliar opponent. Give me the Jags at home.
Okay. I agree with you as far as straight up with picking the game. The rest is home, short week. Hasn't necessarily led to successful spread covers, but nevertheless, it just winning the football game is an obvious formula. And I think the thing that we ding the Saints for the most is the coaching staff. Whereas Jacksonville scores pretty favorably in that regard. So I'm with you. Jacksonville wins this football game. And this spread, we actually have as a much larger discrepancy than the 1.5 in favor of Jacksonville.
I was thinking it should be. I think Jacksonville comfortably covers that.
Why do you think it is 1.5 points?
I don't know. Honest to God.
Like, our friends over FanDuel.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to double check to make sure I entered it correctly.
Oh, boy.
It's 1.5, bro. It's 1.5.
I will have some interest in that game tonight. Some real legitimate interest in the game tonight. So take that for what it's worth. But we're all clean sweeping Jacksonville to win straight up is what Joe and I are picking. And then to cover a very slight, I guess, is it the Trevor Lawrence factor with the knee sprain, whatever it is? Sounds pretty good. He's expecting to play. If that question didn't linger all week, what would the spread be?
Much higher.
I would expect so.
Yeah.
You want to get a couple 1 o'clock games in here?
Yeah, let's boogie.
Okay, so we have Falcons at Tampa Bay Bucs. Bucs obviously coming off of a tough performance against Detroit. Atlanta losing at home to the Commanders. Turnovers have killed them the last couple weeks, but the offense has come alive as far as moving the football.
I hate this game for pick'em purposes. It's obviously a pivotal game in the AFC South race. But as much as I want to pick Atlanta, I feel like the smart thing to do here is to pick the home team in a division game like this. And I feel like there are some things that I like about Tampa, particularly their run defense against a team that really needs to run the football, although Desmond Ridder has certainly been a lot more productive over the last couple of weeks. But I think this is a game where they're going to have to lean on him a little bit more because I'm sure Tampa's really going to take away their rushing offense and dare them to beat them through the air. So I like the home team, but don't I'm not sleeping on the Falcons this week.
I don't feel inclined enough to disagree with you, but I can very easily see a pathway for Atlanta winning the game. It is kind of the challenge of Atlanta's ability to run the ball versus Tampa's had success stopping opposing rushing offenses for the majority of the season this season. Do you have enough to keep them balanced and off balanced? I don't know that the answer is yes. So I'm going to fall in line with you. What is interesting is the roster power rankings favors Tampa to win the game, but by less than the 2.5 point spread that is currently being posted. Which means
Falcons get some turnovers, man, or get some takeaways. It's going to be a different game.
Right. And that pass rush is
right.
Has the ability to test Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
And Tampa's going to be pretty. This is the under game of the week, right?
Oh, yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Is there more turnovers or touchdowns in this game?
That's a great question. I'll go with turnovers. You can see each team having 2. There could be 4 total touchdowns. I don't know, man. Good question. I don't know the answer to it.
This is a 20-16 game.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
The Las Vegas Raiders visiting the Chicago Bears in a contest between two teams that don't have their starting quarterbacks.
Yeah. What do we have here? Is it Tyson Bagent versus Brian Hoyer or Aiden O'Connell? Like, what's the?
Yeah.
What are we doing
exactly
here?
That's exactly. As somebody who has no vested interest in the 1 o'clock games, I'm going to have this on a screen somewhere. I want to see it.
Raiders defense has been playing a lot better. And I think I'm trying to find confidence in something, right? That's what I'm trying to find here. The thing that I feel the most confident about is the Raiders defense. I hate that they're on the road, but I do like that they have some confidence and some momentum going into this game. So I'm going to roll with the Raiders here. But when you have weird quarterback dynamics like this, I mean, who freaking knows?
Right. It is the ultimate wild card. I think if Brian Hoyer does play, that even probably gives you a little bit more confidence.
Yeah.
As compared to, like, you just don't know what Aiden O'Connell and Tyson Bagent is the ultimate.
Not that you have huge expectations for Hoyer, but come on, right? Like,
right.
He's thrown a pass in the league.
So the Raiders are favored by 3. I am with you. I am picking the Raiders to win the game. The Raiders skill group. I think they can run the ball on Chicago's front. Devontae Adams is getting increasingly vocal about his displeasure of his current situation. I think all that adds up. I think there's just too many needle movers for the Raiders, even with the quarterback questions, that gives them an edge in this game. And NFL Scouting Against the Spread has the Raiders covering the 3-point spread.
Kyle, I got to tell everyone about my favorite brand for shorts, my favorite brand for joggers. It's Bird Dogs. They're awesome. They make you look good. The design of these shorts and joggers is just perfect. They're like designed to fit slimmer through your thigh. They give you like a sculpted look. Everybody looks good in them. I just got a pair for my nephew who is 16 years old for his birthday, and he is in love with them. You will be too. I love the versatility, man. You can wear these things around the house just being casual. You can wear them at the gym. You can wear them on the golf course. Wear them on date night. No matter what the circumstance is, they look good. And look, I mean, I know that the weather is cooling down. The joggers are awesome too, right? Nobody wants to wear jeans. I certainly don't. I'm not into khakis or anything like that. I'm joggers or shorts or bust. So Bird Dogs is absolutely perfect for me. They look so good, and they have this anti-stink sweat-wicking fabric that keeps you cool and dry. So you don't have to worry about getting a little swampy down there. They're going to take care of you with that. So check them out. Go to birddogs.com/LockedOnNFL. Enter promo code LockedOnNFL. Here's what you'll get. You get one of these Bird Dogs water bottles, man. This is the Hydro Flask.
Does it come with the sticker?
You know, if you've got a 3-year-old daughter, it comes with the sticker on there. This is probably happening to you. Just random stickers on things throughout your house. Part of the deal having a little girl. But get this Hydro Flask water bottle for free. Go to birddogs.com/LockedOnNFL. Enter our promo code LockedOnNFL. That'll get you that free water bottle. You won't want to take your Bird Dogs off. We promise you.
Outstanding content. Which Disney movie is that?
I don't know. I don't think this is Princess and the Frog. Is this Encanto? I think it's
maybe. I'll be honest. I have not seen a new Disney movie.
Oh man,
in a long time.
I've been getting into them, brother. With my daughter, she's wanting to watch movies. Yeah, Frozen's the one. I still don't really know what's going on. But I am going to be I'm going to be Kristoff for Halloween. I got the costume and everything.
Oh, that's fun. I'm going to be, I believe I'm going to be Bluey's dad.
That's incredible. Do you have the costume?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Won't see the light of day. Don't ask.
Woo! Come on, man. What, the little Draft Dudes podcast with our Halloween costumes? We've done it before.
Maybe, Joe. I don't know.
I mean, if you're going to be Bluey's dad, I'll put on the Kristoff costume. All right, let's pick some games, man. Pick some games.
I'm going to be Mike McDaniel on the show.
I've already seen this.
The play sheet and the glasses.
Yeah, you had the Mike McDaniel outfit ready to go when we were in Buffalo to wear at the game. It was Halloween, right? Packers,
right?
Bills,
right?
And did you wear it? I don't think you did.
I didn't.
Man, it's a shame.
So the world hasn't seen it yet. So that's what we're going to do.
All right.
Okay, so our next game.
I'm going to wear my Brian Daboll outfit.
Knock it out of the park. Just need a giant t-shirt and you're good to go.
I just won't wear a hat. You know what I mean?
Right. Browns at Colts in another game that may not have either starting quarterback ready to go.
Here's the thing about the Browns, and somebody got a little bit mad at me in the YouTube comments this week. They're like, This Joe dude's biased against the Browns when Deshaun Watson's been in there. He's been at least an average quarterback. Brother, that's not the point that I was making. And first of all, you're wrong about that. He's not looked like an average quarterback. And in fact, your words were above average quarterback. The point that I was making is that the Browns, despite not having good quarterback play, they're winning. And that's good and bad. It's good because you're winning despite not having the most important ingredient to winning. But it's also bad that you don't have the most important ingredient to winning. That defense is real, man. Real. Against Gardner Minshew and the Colts. I like the Browns going into Indy and winning this game. I mean, maybe it's a little bit of a letdown coming off of a big win over San Francisco. But I think that defense is going to give them a chance. Give me Cleveland.
This is another one of the under games of the week, right? Especially if Watson doesn't go. And your point's taken with Deshaun Watson, but if it's PJ Walker against Gardner Minshew with the Browns defense playing the way that it is, and the Colts wanting to run the ball the way that they already want to run the ball and run the clock. More or less points in this game or the Falcons-Bucs game?
Less in this one, maybe.
I'd be inclined to agree with you. I am also picking the Browns. The unit I trust the most is that Cleveland defense. Would not be surprised if the Browns defense got on the board for Cleveland themselves. Gardner Minshew, I do think, has enough of the chaos factor to go outside of structure and make something happen and keep it interesting, but I'll pick the Browns as well, which takes us...
Pour one out for Anthony Richardson's season, by the way. Just a little shout out, man.
Right, yeah. Hoping he's back healthy ASAP.
Yep.
The NFL scouting against the spread has the Browns favored, but again, less than the 2.5 points. So the show is taking the Colts to cover -2.5. All
right.
Commanders at Giants. Commanders favored by 2.5 points, Joe.
Kyle, if you told me that Tyrod Taylor was going to start this game, I'd pick the Giants. I feel like under the circumstances of that offense, with the offensive line in shambles, I think his movement skills, his quicker trigger, his deep ball really gives them something where I just think Daniel Jones is a quarterback that completely lacks confidence right now. And I hate the dynamics of him in this offense. And so that's not what you want to say about your handsomely paid quarterback, but that's the reality of the situation. Commander's been a scrappy team this year. I think that the Giants found something on defense recently. I'm going with the Giants at home.
Put me down for fellow Washington.
Come on, man.
I agree with you. I was sitting here smiling. I'm like, man, is he going to do it? I do agree. I think the inspired football that the Giants played, it's going to do one of two things for the team. It's either going to break your spirit completely, or you're going to find that, harness that, and go out and play against Sam Howell and an offense that wants to push the ball and an offense that holds the football. And you got Bobby Okereke flying around, and you got you still have this talent up front against Washington's offensive line that I think the Giants can really dictate terms and get after the passer and stop the run. Giants are at home. Give me the Giants to win the game. NFL scouting against the spread also has the Giants covering the 2.5 points that they're getting. So the 1 o'clock slate has a lot of road favorites, and our roster rankings are fading a lot of them.
It's going to be an interesting conversation next week.
Right.
This is a big. This next one's a good one, guy.
Pretty darn good game here at 1 o'clock slate between.
Put this on Monday night.
Yeah, right. Can we flex it?
And get this out of here. 1 o'clock game.
Baltimore hosting the Detroit Lions.
I'm picking Detroit in this game, and here's what it comes down to for me. Detroit has a legit run defense, and we know Baltimore, their bread and butter is their ability to run the football. Jared Goff playing quarterback, probably as good as anyone right now. Certainly one of the best 5 quarterbacks in the league in terms of how he's playing. I think Ben Johnson is in his bag as a play caller right now. That team has momentum, and Baltimore is just been high variance. I know that they're 4-2, but it's close. There's situational stuff. It can be a little bit dicey, and I just don't feel like they're playing their best football. So give me the team that's playing better football, that's not returning from a trip to London, right? That's Baltimore's on their way back, playing back-to-back weeks. Give me the hot team, Detroit.
Yeah, I can see the pathway for Baltimore winning the game, but I don't necessarily trust it. At least not enough to go against you in this situation, since we are keeping track all season long. I am also picking Detroit to win the game. I think the pathway is Mike McDonald creates a lot of chaos with their pressure packages and forces Jared Goff into some turnovers. But I still trust Detroit. If you told me that the winner of this game had 24 points, who would I trust more to get to 24 right now? It's Detroit. Yeah. So I'm going to put Detroit down in the win column as well. The NFL scouting against the spread does favor Baltimore at home by 0.5 point, but because the spread is 3, the show is taking Detroit to cover the +3. One more game in the 1 o'clock slate.
All right.
Bills visiting New England Patriots, looking to get their groove back after a kind of clunky 2 weeks on offense. And they drew a great team to get it, because I think the Bills are 6-1 in their last 7 against New England, and the loss was the 50-mile-per-hour wind game.
Yeah. The last 4, they've averaged 35 points per game, and an average margin of victory is 17. I like the Bills going into Foxborough and getting a win.
Bills favored by 8.5. NFL scouting against the spread. Our roster rankings have the Bills favored by 13. So we will take the Bills to cover the 8.5.
Well, folks, maybe you like these picks that we're making and you want to get in on the action. Head on over to FanDuel. That's where we're getting these lines from. FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook, and they got a heck of a deal for you right now. New customers can get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. So if you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there is simply no better time to get in on the action. I love the app. It's super easy to use and navigate, and they got a ton of things that you can bet on, including spreads like we're talking about right now. But I really love the player props. I like going in there and seeing, all right, how many rushing yards are you projecting for players? How many passing completions, interceptions, all that type of stuff. And then I go through and pick higher or lower, and I've been doing quite well on the player props. So I encourage you to check that out. They also have over or under. So we've been talking about these games, low-scoring game with the Falcons and Bucs. Maybe you want to go in and see what that over-under is and pick the under. So a lot that you can get in on, tons more than just spreads, player props, and over-unders. So visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. Folks, there's a lot of uncertainty in the world today, and it's more important than ever to be prepared. And we know how the current events can affect the supply chain shortages, especially for medications, and getting them in a timely manner. There is a solution to that problem, and it's the Jase case. The Jase case is a personalized emergency medication kit that contains 5 essential antibiotics that treat the most common and deadly bacterial infections. And you can even customize your case and add additional life-saving medications based on your own unique needs. Jase Case is constantly working. They're expanding their medication offerings, and there's been some good additions lately that you can check out over at jasemedical.com. And look, they also have gift cards. So if there's a family member or a loved one that you'd like to tell about Jase Case, you can get them a gift card, and they can get a Jase Case of their own. So go to Jase Medical and enter our promo code LOCKEDON at checkout for a $20 discount off your order. That's promo code LOCKEDON at Jase Medical, JASE medical.com.
All right, Joe, into the 4 o'clock slate. And we have Cardinals at Seahawks to start us off in this group.
I like the Seahawks, Kyle.
The question's by how much?
That's a question for Locked On NFL Scouting. I like the Seahawks at home. I'm not sleeping on a divisional opponent on the road, but I mean, there's still. I mean, Arizona, everything's new, right? I'm not sure it's going to matter much. I think Seattle's looking for a bounce back win after they felt like they probably should have beat the Bengals. Give me Seattle. I
am also taking Seattle. FanDuel has the spread at just over a touchdown. Arizona's been scrappy. I don't think they're going to be that scrappy. The show has this spread closer to 2 touchdowns. So with it just being 7.5, the show is going to take Seattle to cover the 7.5 point spread. Keeping it in the NFC West, the Rams are hosting the Steelers, who are coming off a bye this week, Joe. And I don't think you found any answers in the bye, because all of the questions about Pittsburgh remain. Is Deontay Johnson going to be the cure-all for your offense with Matt Canada and the running game and Kenny Pickett? And I don't think so. No, and I like what the Rams have got cooking here lately, especially with Cooper Kupp back, and just a lot of overachieving, and that's what they needed. And so far it's happening, and even their losses have been tight losses to good teams. I like the Rams at home here, despite Pittsburgh coming off of a bye. Yeah, the show likes the Rams to cover as well. The Rams are favored by 3. That's close to a touchdown spread on our roster power rankings. So we think the 3-point spread is a fairly, I don't want to say easily attainable, but it is an attainable spread to cover. So the show is in lockstep here. Everyone on the Rams in this game. Would be surprised if everyone's not on the Chiefs in this game. The Chargers visiting the Chiefs. The Chiefs played on Thursday. The Chargers played on Monday. So the ultimate rest discrepancy, as big of a rest discrepancy as you can have without a bye. Yeah, that's not good. And the Chiefs are at home with 4 extra days of rest. And the Chiefs on a short week.
Taylor Swift come into the game or no?
Probably.
Chiefs.
I'm also on the Chiefs. Now, the spread is interesting. It's Chiefs minus 5.5. But Kansas City being at home with even without acknowledging the rest discrepancy, this is about a touchdown spread in our scoring. So Chiefs minus 5.5. The show is in lockstep. We were a little clunky there in the first 4 games. We were out of lockstep, and we have now 5 consecutive games in which everyone's on the same action, whether it's against the spread or just pick them. Now, Packers coming off a bye at Denver Broncos. I would not touch this game with a 10 football.
Yeah, I hate it. I hate it for picking purposes. Trying to think about what is the thing about either team that inspires me to lean into them. Well, Denver at home is always going to help me. Maybe that's mitigated somewhat by the Packers off the bye, but the Packers just really make me nervous with kind of what they can't do offensively and just so much unproven talent, injuries. Defensively, we know they have players, but they're not producing with consistency. What do you lean into here? Part of me just wants to pick the home team and move on with my life.
I can tell you I'm picking the Broncos.
And
I don't think the Packers have enough to capitalize on just how categorically bad the Broncos defense is. And I think the Broncos do have enough big play ability and explosive play ability with their weapons that I think that plus Denver being at home is enough, because while Green Bay's coming off a bye, Denver's got a mini bye because they played on Thursday last week.
I was hoping you were going to pick the Packers.
Sorry. Pick the Broncos.
Me too.
Okay. The show has this as literally a coin. This is a pick 'em spread. So we'll take the home team here because the actual spread is Green Bay minus 1.5. Our scoring has it as literally a pick 'em. Which takes us to Sunday Night Football.
Be waiting all night for this, or all day for this one, right?
The Dolphins at the Philadelphia Eagles, Joe.
Yeah, I'm picking the Miami Dolphins in this game. I think the Eagles, if they're going to win, it's all about they got to run the football, shorten the game, which maybe they can, but I still think Miami is going to have, I don't know, at least 7 possessions, and I think they're going to score a ton, and that's going to put a lot of pressure on Philadelphia to match. And one thing that I'm starting to kind of pick up on with the Dolphins and their opponents, like teams that don't have a lot of like experience against them, they really struggle. And I mean, when's the last time these two teams have played? It's been a while.
It's been 2019.
Yeah. So they haven't seen what this is like. I think Miami goes into Philly and wins this football game.
Man, bless you. I want to pick Philly.
Do you want to pick Philly?
No, I don't, but I'm also trying to like objectively look at the game, and it's like, man, like I just have a hard time with what Miami's defense has looked like against better talented offenses in the Chargers and the Bills.
What if they don't have Lane Johnson and Devonta Smith?
Well, Lane Johnson's apparently ready to go. Now, what is 80% Lane Johnson? It's still probably better than Jack Driscoll, but like, does he play through it? I don't know. Here's what's interesting. From Miami's perspective, I think there's a lot of their struggles have come in regards to the back end. They're first in the league in quarterback hits, and they are tied for third in the NFL in sacks through the first 6 weeks. You know who the most static offense in the NFL is?
I don't, but I think you're going to tell me it's the Eagles.
The Philadelphia Eagles. They have motion at the snap on like 8% of their snaps offensively this year. So if Miami's problems are communication on passing off routes, for Philadelphia to be as static as they have been, and it's been this way for 3 years, they've been like bottom 5 in motion at the snap and like shifts like the last 3 years. I think Philadelphia would benefit from doing it more in this game because of what it would prompt you to do. Do I know that they're going to do that? No. Philly's super banged up on the back end. The Dolphins might not have Xavier Howard. They might not have Connor Williams. Like you could go a million different ways in this game. I'm going to play defense and pick the Dolphins to win the game.
10-17 playing for the Dolphins?
Yes.
Yeah, all right.
I will pick the Dolphins to play defense against Joe Marino. The NFL scouting against the spread is picking the Eagles to cover the 2.5 points at home. If this was not in Philadelphia, it would probably be a different story. Or it would be a different story because I could just look at the numbers and tell you that. But Philadelphia at home, 2.5. We have Philadelphia covering the spread.
I picked the 49ers to beat the Vikings.
I also picked the 49ers to beat the Vikings, and I don't think it will be particularly close.
Move Lions, Ravens to Monday night. What are we doing?
Please. NFL scouting against the spread picks the 49ers to cover a 7-point spread against the Vikings without Justin Jefferson.
Very good.
So there you go. That's week 7, all 13 games. We covered them. The Jets, Bengals, Panthers, Cowboys, Texans, and Titans are on buys this week. We are not. We will be back again tomorrow for Takes on Takes, which we are recording right now as soon as we get out of here. So we're going to go do that. We hope you enjoyed this preview for week 7. We will be back again tomorrow with Takes on Takes, and you can find us on YouTube or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Thanks for checking out Locked on NFL Scouting. I'm Kyle Crabbs. He's Joe Marino. We'll talk to you all again tomorrow.